chosen ones, empaths. I want you to look at this from a bird's eye view, from an unemotional perspective, from a stoic perspective. What I say in this video, please try to stick around. It might be hard for you to wrap your head around, okay? But I think it will resonate with those that it needs to resonate with, right? None of what I'm saying is so you give the narcissist a second chance. This is just a disclaimer. None of what I say is for you to have empathy towards them. What I'm trying to ask you to tap into is looking from a higher perspective, okay? Now, a narcissist sleeping around or cheating, casting you aside, all of that is a cry for help. It's an extreme cry for attention, okay? I've heard of people in sessions where the narcissist has actually sent things to the former supply to provoke them. Just for example, I know that might not happen to you, but if they're taking the time out of their day to post them on a new supply directly to the person, not just posting it, but directly to the person, then it's a strong indication that you're occupying their mind, okay? And what we can learn from these people that have had that in the session, just because the narcissist hasn't done that to you, is the same rule stands. It's a cry for help, okay? Things were not going the way they planned it. You were showing resilience. You wasn't being a supply you wasn't being the supply they wanted to turn you into and convert you into, okay? You may have strong morals or principles or values or whatnot, and they couldn't shake you from that, okay? Now, narcissistic females narcissistic females will try to emasculate, okay? And it's coming from a Jezebel place, but the same with a narcissistic male. He will try and diminish your value, okay? Similar sort of thing, but slightly different. This is what they do, okay? So when they go off on their journey of, they do get a thrill from it. Don't get me wrong, they do get supply, and I'm not trying to trigger you now, but they do get a thrill from cheating. They do get a rush, it keeps them alive. But when it's built off the back of you, when you're out of the picture, there's no more, it hasn't got that same feel to it when they engage with these supplies, okay? It was only having you around while they were doing it, which made it intriguing. Now, this also confused their mind state. They're a broken soul. A narcissist is there's broken souls, right? That you can help build up, and there's broken souls out there. After you've been through that's totally different, but they're a lost cause, maybe I should say. They're a lost cause, and it's really a huge scream and shouting from the rooftops, attention, like, look what I'm doing, chosen one. Look what I'm doing, empath. I'm out here. I'm cheating. I'm with this person. I'm doing this. It's fucking it's BS, And that's why I'm asking you to look at it from a bird's eye perspective, right? From a higher view. You should feel sorry. You should pity someone that can't be real and just say, hey, I don't want to do this. And they may have said that to you now, but it was already after how long they were going behind your back or whatever like that. You know what I mean? Right? So, but they can't have just a real discussion, things like that. Like, you should pity someone, not pity, but you should just look down upon them. You know what I mean? You should just look down upon them for what they are. But it's a huge cry for help. And that's what I told these people, that obviously is very triggering for the former supplier, the chosen one, the empath, to see something like that, be sent something like that. Very triggering. But what I told them to do is tap in from my perspective. Look at that. Look at the narcissist. That's how they're trying to get your attention. Obviously, you was unwavering. You weren't as manipulated as you might think. You had strong values, and they've broken those values. So you need to know that what God's trying to show to you, I believe, or the universe, is these are deal breakers. Okay? you're sort of taught values and stuff through life. Like you'll be taught this, even if you gave them chance after chance after chance. You eventually say you're not going to give no more chances. You're taught the value of respecting yourself, or respecting your body, or respecting these sorts of things, right? And therefore you look down upon the narcissist, right? Don't have no empathy for them. When I say this is scream for help, don't think, oh no, poor narcissist, you're doing this to get my attention. How sweet. Like, don't think that. You know what I mean? It's fucking weird shit. They do weird shit to get your attention. Okay? They're fucking strange, bizarre creatures that are disgusting. But in their mind, they think like, why aren't you coming to rescue me? You know? Why aren't you coming to rescue me? And that's why many of you have had this as well. I've heard from people in sessions and other people in the comments. Many of you have had the narcissist actually coming back and bad-mouthing the person they're with. That's on their minds every day. They're thinking, like, you're the one person that understands, you listen like no other, you know? And I know, because I read the comments and you listen to what I say, and I can imagine that a lot of you, maybe not all, because there's probably some narcissists on the channel, but maybe not all, you're probably good listeners, and you respond well, you know. For those that comment, I know not all of you comment, but you know what I mean? I can see that's how I imagine you being in your walks in life. And those are qualities that narcissists really thrive around. So they've traded, you know, true values, a real authentic life that they were living. If they could maintain that performance, you would have never been none the wiser, but they let it slip. You know, they threw their toys out the pram. They wanted to demand attention. It's the old trick, you know, push someone away, turn cold, turn bitter, turn twisted, and they'll, you know, there's probably quotes and shit around that you see of this shit, and this person will be infatuated with you forever. There's some toxic shit online. I don't really look upon this stuff, but this is what it is. They tell people to turn cold. They're telling people to do this stuff. Narcissists will tap into this sort of information that's out there, and they'll use it in their handbook. You know, they'll use it in their weaponry, and it's just a blatant trick what they're trying to do. You've got to have the strong enough morals where the narcissist knows, like, they've done something that is unforgivable. They've done something that you would never look at them the same way again. And you're not going to be emasculated if you're a male, and you're not going to be devalued if you're a woman, and you would not put up with that. That you would rather, if it was just you and them on earth, and I used to say this in my early videos, and God said, hey, you need to make it work. You'd probably, even if you're the most devout believer in God, you'd probably say, God, like, no thanks. Like, seriously. Right? And I know that might sound like, you might say, no, how can you say that to God? But like, that's how much like disgust you should have for that soul. Okay? Let it disgust you. Look at it from a bird's eye view. Don't let it get you emotional. Be stoic. Don't let it hurt your feelings. Don't let them emasculate you where you take them back and you know, it's nasty, or don't let them diminish your value where you're being triangulated and shit like that. You know, honestly, just if they can't keep it real with you, they can't keep it real with no one, because you're easy to keep it real with, you know? It's not a hard ask, should I say, to keep it real with a chosen or empath. What I mean by that is, you know, you're quite simple. Like, you have simple values, simple morals. Treat me good, I'll be like that. And you've got a switch, you know? Some of you didn't realize you had this switch or this cutoff, but you discover it. You realize you have this cutoff, you have this door slam, you have this switch, and there's certain lines that are crossed that you will never endeavor with them again. So they are out there. They know that you're fucked up. You know, this cry for attention, scream for help, the thrills they got from cheating or sleeping around or whatever they did, going through supplies. Yeah, it may have gave them a bit of supply, but it's not that. It's not in nothing in comparison. All right, your levels beyond that. Your levels and levels beyond that. They do not equate, these new supplies. So let them indulge in it. Let them indulge in the strangers, in the affection of strangers around them. And you will always be the prominent one in their minds, because this was the actual reason why they went off and done what they did in spite of you. And once you can wrap your head around that, you'll have a clearer perspective. And I think it will actually propel you into healing, this advice that I've given you. So anyway, thanks for listening today. I really appreciate the support. Please book a session if you'd like to. If you'd like to donate or support to the channel, you can. You don't have to, but you can. Please check out Zion Music YouTube channel. There's some new EPs that have been released recently and one very recently. And check out Zion Spiritual as well. So anyway, I'll be back with another video soon. Peace.